Team Fortress 2 is not a horror game, obviously. With its silly charm and its addicting team-based gameplay, it's just a game where players can have fun blasting each other away and hitting sick taunts, and gamble their life savings away for that sweet, sweet unusual. But we know how this goes by now. We have had multiple horror series that have been made revolving around Team Fortress 2, turning the game into this horrifying experience. But Team Fortress 2 also has a horror game, which isn't the focus of this video, but it gives some context. The game is called Capture the Intelligence, an indie game made by Nixliz. It is a top-down game where you play as a spy, while you're trying to, well, capture the intelligence. But the spooky part comes in with all the other TF2 mercs, instead of being the usual quirky legends that we know and love, have now become these disfigured and terrifying abominations, chasing the player and jump scaring them when they are caught. It is truly one of the best examples of a TF2 horror game. But what if I told you there are more? A lot more. While most of the TF2 horror games out there on GameJolt and itch.io are mainly Five Nights at Freddy's recreations with TF2 characters, which I'm not gonna lie, most of them are slop. Not saying all of them are, but most of them. But using my humongous brain, aka searching up Team Fortress 2 on indie game sites, I was able to pull together 3 different TF2 horror games, which are not only amazing, but actually scared me. The first TF2 horror game I found is called Fortress Duty, and to be honest, this might be one of the best. So what is Fortress Duty? Well, it was created by one Zemanek, and it's a horror game that is heavily inspired by Observation Duty, you know, the game Markiplier played, and mix that with TF2. And honestly, I thought this game was going to be kind of meh, but after playing it, I realized it's honestly pretty sick. Not only are there a lot of anomalies, but they are pretty terrifying. And I played the game for quite a while and I was not able to find every single one, and while the game is difficult for someone like me who has short-term memory loss, I thought it was pretty fun still. But in this game there are 3 different maps you can choose to play from. There's Two Fort, Double Cross, and Harvest, with difficulties from literal baby mode to hard mode. Each map has different anomalies for the player to experience. Some are exactly what I would expect from a game like this, and some are like this one. This soldier with no face knocking on the glass was terrifying, but when you clean up anomalies like this one, you get something else. A little line of text in which after you beat a level, you are presented with a terminal, and you can input whatever text was found. And when you do, you are given info on these anomalies, but also just information about what exactly is going on here. So this game has a lot more going on than just the scary happenings, but some actual lore. But for the most part, the gameplay is pretty simple. You flip through the cameras and try and identify anomalies like an extra chair or a sign that says something super evil, and you try to get rid of that anomaly. And you identify that anomaly to get rid of it. And if you have too many anomalies, you end up losing the game. And while I personally didn't find everything that this game had to offer, there were a couple things I was able to find. With it seeming like the person watching over these anomalies, or hasn't become one, is Dell, or the engineer, with a text file del_1.txt, giving us a lot of info on these anomalies. It's been just over a smidge over a week since we ran headlong into the first anomaly. The situation's as tangled as a bowl of spaghetti on day 1, seeming like these events have wrapped their arms around the whole wide world, leaving behind nothing but questions without any answers. Our top priority is to figure out exactly what we are dealing with here. The importance of this mission can't be understated, so I've decided to outfit each and every one of our colleagues with a personal recording device. This ain't just some fancy gadget. It's a critically important tool in our current situation. Should any one of us come face to face with an anomaly, these devices will let us document what we see right there and then, giving us priceless information that might just be the key to unravel this whole mess. So from this info alone, we can gather that the engineer was the one who created this tool that we use to clean up the anomalies, but also how they were able to gather information on them. And he specifies something in the beginning, and that's that these events or anomalies have wrapped their arms around the whole wide world. Which that idea is pretty scary, that these anomalies are not restricted to one particular area, but they're everywhere. And honestly, this game could get a whole video on its own, so if you want that, let me know in the comments below. But yeah, I recommend everyone try this game out. On to the next. The next TF2 horror game is called Intelligence Nightmare by Scion Star Dev. And yes, this one is a mixture between Five Nights at Freddy's and TF2. But this one is actually good, and probably the best one out of the many sloppers that I found. It starts off with a little cutscene that says, "Red was dominating blue until one time. Blue medic tried messing with things he didn't understand. He made him and his whole team into monsters. Still, capture the intelligence." And this game's aesthetic really sells it for me. It has a PS1 style look, and it makes this game feel a lot more unsettling. But in this game, you'll get to choose between one blue entity from the 9 classes to defend against, and one red merc to defend with. Each character has their usual utility to defend with. Scout with his shotgun, and Soldier has his rocket launcher. But when it comes to the blue entities, they all have their own abilities that can make the game different each time you play it. Scout is armed with a pistol and is very fast. Soldier has a shotgun and high health. He will randomly scream, raising the tension. Pyro is harder to see in cameras. Demo has a pistol and can charge to random cameras. Heavy is very tough and has a shotgun, but he is also slower. Engineer has a Thompson 6000. He has an upgraded sentry buster, and if he's in a hallway, he can activate the cloak sentry. Sniper has it so that when the tension is above 50, he will gain progress as shooting you with his huge rifle. Kill him to reset it. Medic slowly heals over time and deals poison. And the spy is invisible on cameras, but makes noises when he moves. He can jam cameras, but you can still hear him. He will also randomly stop the conveyor. There's also 2 more entities that are in the challenge section. The Nightmare, which pop up in the server room while you are in the main room. If you move, you die, but you can flash to get rid of him. And Cinema, which will occasionally be in the server room, and if you don't flash until he leaves, he will flash you and raise the tension. So when starting out, you will appear in front of a desk, in which you will have to use your cameras to find out where these entities are. You being in the intel room, and with these cameras to lure them back out to their other rooms. Also, this game doesn't work like a normal FNAF game would. Instead of making it to a certain time, you have to work with the most important mechanic, which is the conveyor belt. To win, you have to get the intel progress to 100. The conveyor belt, when switched to the intel, will give you the intel. But the issue is also if you want to regain health and ammo, you have to spend time using the conveyor for those things, which takes a while. All of this is in the server room along with one other thing, a button to jam the buster. When you are at the desk with the monitor, if you turn around, you will see a sentry buster that is there the whole time. You have to keep jamming him or you take damage. Okay, so now what about the actual entities? Well, with any other FNAF adjacent game, you have to watch cameras and keep track of them, but if you notice, you also have 2 hallways. The entities can appear in either one, and if they do, well, that's what your weapons are for. You can straight up shotgun or rocket launcher any enemy to keep them from going down the halls. Some enemies take more damage than others, but that's pretty much the way you get rid of them temporarily. And of course, if you don't keep them at bay, then, well... But honestly, this game is really fun, but really difficult. I was only able to win one time, and it was against a heavy because he moves really slow. But there's a lot to manage while playing this game, which can be stressful at times, which is probably the point. All the mercs are pretty disturbing to look at, and honestly, I wouldn't want them coming to my room at night. All of them each have their own distinct look that gives them these creepy faces, and they all have their own unique jump scare. The final game is called Admin's Hell by Zetterite, a crossover game between Dark Deception and Team Fortress 2, and this game had me clenching like crazy. You play as the administrator, and you have to collect all of the intelligence in these long mazes while being chased by either the medic, engineer, or the pyro, all having their own disturbing look to them. The medic's description is, "What strange experiments has the medic been doing down there? It's up to you to find out or not." And you have no special power to stop him. You just have to run. The engineer's description says, "In the depths of the warehouse, the engineer has prepared some surprises for his guest." In this level, you get the power of the sapper, which can be used to temporarily stop the engineers from moving. And finally, the pyro's description says, "What monsters can hide in the dark? Don't get lost or you'll never see the light again." In this one, you get the power of the pyrovision goggles, which makes you become invisible to the pyros, but they can still feel you. And while this game is definitely a little buggy, it was definitely still the one I had the most fun with. In the medic level, you have multiple medics chasing you, and in every level you have 3 lives. If they catch you, you get restarted at a checkpoint. First, you'll have to grab all the intelligence cases, and then after that, you unlock an area afterwards, in which you have to grab even more intelligence. After you've done that, you'll have to grab a Saxy, and make your way to the portal to escape. Which for the life of me, I could not get to the portal. It was pretty rough. The other ones are similar, with the engineer having robots that chase you, followed up by a boss fight at the end. And the pyro one I didn't even bother finishing because the pyros were way too busted. I could barely get through that tight area. And honestly, this game kind of reminds me of some Goofy Runners type game, but honestly trying to find the intelligence while these TF2 characters are chasing you still had me stressing out either way. This game is pretty simple, but it's a fun time and kind of scary. So yeah, those were the TF2 horror games I found. All were pretty scary, and even though they are all crossover and mixtures of other games, you can tell they all had passion put into them. And the best part is that they are all free. So I will link all of them in the description so you can play them yourselves. And let me know what y'all thought of these games in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all later.